So thanks for joining us, and this webinar will be recorded. So our agenda today, we're going to have the latest updates and news. We have Kathy Kavanaugh and Robin Rivnats from the Microsoft team talking about PD and resources. And then we've got special guest Becky Keene from I2E, who's going to talk about doing remote PD tips and tricks. So the 3 links we like to review the same every time. 3 quick links to get started. The main EDU remote learning site, the Teams EDU Quick Start Guide, and then all of you out there who haven't yet already signed up, we've got a Teams remote learning community. And so this is all across the board. People from United States, North America, all around the globe have joined this remote learning community. And you can interact with the product team, help get up and running, tips and tricks, help get support, ask questions. It's a global community of over 3,000, so we encourage you to join. Now, today's updates. I'd like to also have 3 new pieces of news. There's so much content coming out. We're really trying to get out the information as best as possible. We just added some new Teams Education Getting Started videos and content on our main support site that actually Kathy's teams helped put together. So this link is right here. There's some brand new content for educators, students, as well as parents. We also just launched a massive integration with Teams meetings and some of the most popular learning management systems on the planet. So we just announced Teams meeting integration with Canvas, Blackboard, Desire to Learn, Brightspace, as well as Schoology and It's Learning. So really great integration. There's a big blog describing how your LMS can launch Teams meetings integrated. And then also, we've just started to do these remote learning webinars public. We were doing them just inside of our team to start last week. Now they're public. And here's the schedule right here. You can share that link out with whoever you want. And again, when you go to that link, this is the schedule. It has the ones that have already taken place, and you can watch the recording. And we've also got new ones coming up. So pretty much every day and going into next week, we're going to keep doing these webinars. So we encourage you, if you missed some, you can go back and watch some. PowerPoint decks are all downloadable, and we'll post the new ones soon. And with that, we're going to turn it over to Kathy Kavanaugh and Robin Rivnats from the Microsoft Education team. You can see their backgrounds here, and they're each going to tell you a little bit more about what they do and how what they're doing can help all of you out there with remote PD that you might be doing. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing and let Kathy and Robin take it over.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Mike. I am thrilled to be in this webinar today. And here we go. So I lead professional development strategy for Microsoft and have many years of experience in education, including online education. So I'm happy to be sharing with you some of the resources that we have for educators for professional development that they can do anywhere, anytime. So these are the 3 categories of resources that I want to share with you briefly. So the first is the first is the support pages, which Mike mentioned, that includes the remote learning resources for parents, students, and educators. But there's a lot more to the support site for education. This site has articles written specifically for educators around the education-specific tools that are part of Office 365, as well as specific articles and downloadables and other kinds of materials that are there. And the team is always adding to those and keeping them up to date. So whenever there's any change in a product, a new feature, a new interface, they're there making sure that you've got the most recent and current material to help you out. And this is the remote learning starting page that they've created. And again, they're adding to that almost every day with more information, not just about using the tools of Office 365 when they're teaching and learning remotely, but some tips for effective practice as well. So just last week, they added onto the student page some success tips, some kind of practices that students can do at home or that parents can help students with when they're all together as a family to set up their space and organize their time and keep going with their learning. Next is the Microsoft Educator Center, which we call the MEC. You might know the MEC. It's been around since 2015, and it's full of hundreds of courses and resources and lesson plans. It has just been redeveloped and re-released over the past couple of months. It supports more than 40 languages, and we're adding more languages every week and more content. You can take courses, and if you sign in, you can also complete courses and earn achievements, including badges, certificates, and if you want to continue learning beyond one course, you can take entire learning paths and get badges and certificates for them as well. We also have some new content types that I'll tell you about. So there are many new courses, more coming in all the time from Microsoft and from our partners. When you log in, as you come back to MEC over and over again, the course page will tell you which ones you were taking before you left. And so you can start back up on those as soon as you want to and easily find the ones that you were working on. Learning paths are a sequence of courses on the same topic. And you can also check your progress when you look at the learning path page by seeing which ones you haven't started, which ones you have, and which ones you've completed. So it's very easy to find out where you are and what you can do next to keep going. In the achievements, when you look at your profile, you'll see all of the badges that you've earned. And when you click on a badge, you can share the news with your professional learning communities and your social networks. You can also see the certificate, which is a beautiful downloadable PDF file that shows the course that you've completed and how much time it took. And then all of that achievement is listed in the transcript, which is also a downloadable PDF that shows everything that you've ever learned in the MEC. So if you need to share information or confirmation of work that you've done to receive professional development points, we try to make it easy for you. We've got many partnerships helping us to build MEC content, including NASA, Made by Dyslexia, and the BBC. And we're excited that NASA Hacking STEM lessons are now in the MEC, and the BBC My World lessons, all around media literacy, are all in the MEC. So there are lesson plans specifically set up so that they can be downloaded or printed and used in the classroom or used online. And we also have teacher training packs. These are downloadable packages of training materials, including a PowerPoint, some emails, all of the resources that you would need in your own community, in your school, or with your colleagues to do a professional development, which you could do right here, like we're doing in Teams. It's everything that you need to get started, and there are over 20 topics. All of these teacher training packs were developed by teachers, for teachers, and they've got strong pedagogical context. So it's about using the technology to achieve the learning goals that you have for your students. And they're all right there in the support center that I showed at the very beginning. So those are the resources that we're working to keep updated and expanded. We love to hear your feedback if there's something that you need, and we'll just keep working to make sure that you have resources that will be helpful to you and your students. And at this point, I will turn over to Robin.
Thanks, Kathy. So great to see all the different resources that are being developed on the fly for educators around. We all know that, sometimes we need that just-in-time professional learning that we can sit down and learn on our own, particularly using the MEC. One of the things Kathy shared was how on the MEC you can take courses, you can earn points, and you can earn badges. And part of that development for yourself is to become part of our MIE community. I feel strongly as a former educator myself that sitting in courses and learning new things is great, but for me to really be able to understand how to use it in my daily practice as a teacher, I need a network of peers that are there to support me, answer my questions, celebrate my successes, and also help me along my failures along the way. So with that, we have our Microsoft Innovative Educator community programs. In our programs, there are 3 levels of programs, and you can get started all today using the MAC to take courses and earn your badges. The first level is our MIE program. It's our certified MIE badge. You can take a variety of courses throughout the MEC, and really we leave that up to you for your choice in professional learning of what you want to learn about. And once you earn 1,000 points in the MEC, you can earn your certified MIE badge. The other 2 programs that we have around our MIE community is that of our MIE trainers. These are folks who are typically responsible for training other teachers. They might be library media specialists, ed tech specialists, maybe you're the technology teacher on campus, or maybe you're a leader or administrator. But these are people that are responsible for providing professional development. You can earn your MIE trainer badge in one of 2 ways. We do offer face-to-face trainer academies that do get hosted throughout the United States and the world. And then we also have our trainer academy online as well. So you can take the entire online trainer academy in the MEC and become an MIE trainer. And then the last level of programs is our MIE expert program. This is an application-based program that is open to educators and school leaders throughout the year. Each year we open the application and we select a cohort of educators for the year that have a strong foundation of skills, a network of peers to ask questions from, and then they get access to lots of benefits in the program too, including providing feedback to our product engineers and then meeting up face-to-face at lots of events across the U.S., whether that be at BET or ISTE or others. So we look forward to continue to grow these programs, have your peers support you in a community environment, and we will be opening our MIE expert application soon, so be on the lookout for that. So in addition to our community programs, we also have many social channels. I know personally as an educator, I don't just get my PD when I sit through a formal course. Actually, I probably learn more things every single day by connecting with other fabulous educators online. So we also have many online channels where we try to connect educators to each other, showcase different resources that they're using in their classroom, etc. So you can see across all these channels and different ways and resources we have. So if you are a fan of Twitter, definitely follow us at Microsoft EDU, and we will share out some resources there. If you're an Instagrammer, we share out on Instagram as well. Lots of fabulous things that are getting shared on LinkedIn and Facebook. There are also some community groups on Facebook that you guys could join as well. And then for those that really love getting teacher ideas from Pinterest, we definitely have some of those for you there. One of my favorites, though, is our YouTube channel. If you like getting just short tidbits of information, because as teachers, we know our lives are very busy and time. I mean, when do we ever have time to learn all these things? You can actually go to our YouTube channel, and we have an entire series of videos called You Can in 90. So it's literally 90-second quick tip videos that help you be able to implement something in your classroom. So check those out if you have some time. Just 90 seconds, it's all you need. And then we aggregate all of our resources on our blog. So our educationblog.microsoft.com is our central hub where we share stories of schools that are doing amazing things. When we release new product updates, we have those all announced there. It's kind of the central location where we are posting everything about Microsoft Education that we are doing to support you guys, and how you can get ideas from fellow educators and school leaders as well. So check out our social channels. And speaking of social, one thing that we love to have is hearing our educators and school leaders share their voice. So each month we host what's called a Microsoft EduChat Tweet Meet. Next month, on April 21st, we will host a tweet meet, and this month, for April, the topic of learning will be about Microsoft Teams and remote learning. So every month we have a different topic. This past month was about global connections. We try to change that topic every single month to be what is top of mind for educators in their lives at that time. So right now we know that a lot of top of mind for many educators and students and parents and administrators is remote learning. So we're going to be chatting all about remote learning on the 21st. Now, I mind you, this is not Microsoft just out there on Twitter telling you all the things. This is community of educators sharing their stories, what's working, what's not working. So join us on our tweet meets. We want to hear from you, want to hear your great ideas, and then be there to answer your questions as well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to one of my favorite MIE experts on the call, the fabulous Becky Keene. Becky, over to you.
Thanks, Robin, and hello, everyone. I'm so honored to be joining you today, talking to you all about remote professional development best practices. I love doing professional development. I think adults are the hardest audience, having taught teenagers. I think that's a pretty interesting statement, but I am very excited to share with you some of my tips and tricks around delivering remote learning. So there are 4 categories of facilitating a remote learning environment. And these are in order for a reason. So we start with technical. We have to clear up any technical issues before we move on to doing anything in the environment itself. Then we think about social, and I'm going to dig more into each of these, but I want to give you a quick snippet on what I mean. Social is the connectedness. The reason that our presenters are showing their video today, because we want you to get to know us and to be a part of our community. Then we think about managerial, managing the workflows of an online learning environment and what that means. And finally, we get to content. Notice content is last. So often as educators, we put the content first and try to plan around it. But in reality, that's one of the last things we consider when we're planning remote PD. So let's go ahead and dig into the first one. Technical. So in the technical sense, your role as the facilitator is to help learners get comfortable with the technology platform. You'll notice that on this webinar, we started by asking you to mute your microphone with an icon that showed you what to do and where to look. We also gave directions as far as this will be recorded, and if you don't hear anything, check your audio settings. We're used to having these beautiful webinar welcome screens, but for remote professional development, it's better if that welcome screen gives us some tips about what to do if we're having technical issues. Wouldn't it be great if all of your technical issues were resolved before your PD started? And that's what we do with technical considerations. All right, let's dig into the next one. Social is a pretty big piece of leading remote professional learning. To do social well, we really have to think about the facilitator creating and maintaining a friendly environment where people feel safe interacting with each other. If no one will come off mute and no one will post to the chat, maybe we haven't done our jobs. So we have to think about building that community of learners. Do things like adding your video. Maybe add fun elements to your posts. Sometimes we're a little serious in these sessions, but it's okay to add a meme or a GIF or a GIF, depending on what side of that fence you're on, to the chat to lighten things up a little bit and let people relax in your environment. Maybe you add a sticker. Maybe you start with a low-risk question or a discussion that allows people to get comfortable using the chat without posting something and then being nervous about what others will think about it. So for example, I might ask all of you to post something that is to the discussion about that's not even related to this topic, just to get people engaged with the chat. So I might say, right now, take a moment and post to the chat your favorite thing to have for dessert. And if you're doing that right now, something probably came to mind and you feel really comfortable posting about your favorite dessert because it's not a high-risk topic. So these are the kinds of things we can do to build a social environment in our remote professional development. All right, let's head to the next one. Let's talk management. Management is the not so fun part of leading remote professional development, but in reality, this is where people feel really comfortable in your space. So your role as a facilitator is to set an agenda, set a timeline, and communicate your timeline, saying things like, this session will last about an hour, or we'll take a break at 1/2 the hour, letting people know what to expect from you and from each other. Tell them up front if you're going to ask them to work on something else or open some links so that they can prepare their interface to the best capacity for the professional development experience. We want to have norms established for online discussions, like how do we respond to individuals? Do we @mention? Do we use emoji remarks? Do we use responses? How to join live lessons? When are the office hours? All of those things that learners need to focus on before they can even dig into the content. This is just like a face-to-face professional development experience where we tell people what time lunch break is or where the restrooms are down the hallway. We have to translate all of those skills into a non-physical environment. We have to bridge that time and distance by doing things a little differently. Make sure you're answering questions as well. So here are my tips to communicate what you will do, how you will accomplish it, why your content is important. Hopefully they know why it's important or they wouldn't have joined, but they might have just gotten forwarded this PD session from someone else and pop in. So go ahead and reestablish that on your call. Then tell them when you will take a break or finish and who will be expected to do certain things like share or post to the environment. All of these are really important managerial considerations to think about before we head into intellectual. Intellectual is the time where we start thinking about the content. And I would highly, highly encourage you to do something that is maybe a little bit different for some of us, and that is it's not a webinar. It's a remote professional development experience. That means we don't just take the slide deck we would have used for a face-to-face training and put it in a Teams call. Instead, we have to think through, how will my participants be interacting? Will they be questioning, analyzing, evaluating? Will they be applying the information I'm sharing? Some presenters feel really awkward in silence. So it's hard for us when we don't have that face-to-face interaction to stop and let our participants think. And then come back to the chat or come back to a discussion or come back to our Teams chat and respond to each other. And that's something that we have to work out of our comfort zones to plan into our sessions. We also have to think about how people will interact with our content in different ways. In a face-to-face training, I might decide to show a video clip for everyone up in front. In a Teams call, that might not be the best way to go about it. Instead, maybe I post a link to the video in the chat and have participants join, go watch that video on their own, then come back to the conversation with us. I might ask them to click through an interactive graphic, where before I would do that from, again, the front of the room. We might ask them to complete what I call a mini assignment, something that just takes 1 minute or less, where we ask them to look at a website or look at a graphic that I'm displaying and then do something about that item. We might also ask them to share out loud. Some people get very nervous coming off mute, or maybe they don't have a great connection, or they're viewing the recording later on. So we always want to give a variety of options of ways that people can follow up after the call as well. So Microsoft has a wide range of tools to support all of the things that I just talked about. So let's go on to our next slide and talk through the 4 C's. We have 4 C's everywhere we turn, I feel like. But these are different things that we have available in the Microsoft environment to engage our participants in new ways. So let's start with consume. That's where our participants are consuming content that's been given to them. Maybe it's in an app in Teams. We've got all these amazing third-party apps in Teams that pull content right into the space, where our participants don't even have to leave Teams to get information. Maybe it's viewing a Bunsy that I've created for them to think about content, or maybe a Wakelet collection. But let's think about how they can be accessing that content outside of me screen sharing it all the time. We also have PowerPoint recordings and stream videos that we can send to our participants either before, during, or after the call. Let's talk about creation. Creating a polypoll is a great way to engage people in the moment. Or maybe I can have them go create a sway and post their link back to the chat for others to view it. Maybe I have them build something in Minecraft Education Edition, then take a screenshot and add that to the chat or screen share their world with a little walkthrough. Maybe I ask my participants to collaborate on a Wakelet collection of resources with me that all of us have access to after the event. There's a whole list of apps that we could be using to engage people in professional learning that doesn't have to be stuck inside this screen sharing PowerPoint space. We want to include all the tools that we might ask them to use with students as a part of the adult learner experience. We also want to make sure they're communicating. Of course, we know about chat and conversations and Teams calls because we're on one right now, but never ever forget the power of the asynchronous Flipgrid. Just today I was speaking to a virtual course designer who uses Flipgrid as a way for people to get into the social communicated space right at the beginning of her live remote learning sessions. So that's a fabulous thing to do on the fly. Finally, our collaboration tools. We all know about ways we can work together, but let's think about using those tools really creatively and constructively. You might create a link to a shared space ahead of time and then ask people to go into breakout groups and collaborate in that space in new and different ways, then return to the call and share out their progress as you look through that content together. So let's think about together ways that we can engage, empower, and inspire our educators to learn and do those things with their students a little differently. Back to you, Mike.
And just to recap, we're going to wrap this up. We have the same resources as in the beginning, the remote learning site, the Teams EDU Quick Start, and then encourage you to sign up for the remote learning community that we have going on. Also, we'll be posting the PowerPoint deck so you can get those great slides from Kathy and Robin and Becky. All those PowerPoint slides and links are fully public, fully available to all. Also, we always want to encourage people to file a support ticket if you need help. The great site here to share with other educators in the schools, and we have support agents to help out. And lastly, our future webinars. We've got one tomorrow on how to do Teams meetings really good. We have a PM from the Teams group, and we also have Michelle Zimmerman from Renton Prep, who's doing some great work. Accessibility and remote learning on Wednesday. And then we've got Michelle Freed, our general manager of Microsoft Education's joining on Thursday, along with Eastside Prep and Jonathan Briggs to talk about what they've been doing to shift to remote learning. And then lastly, we have a bonus webinar. This isn't really part of our webinar series, but making sure people know if you're doing IEPs or 504s and accessibility, you've got some great tools with Microsoft. And Alice Keeler and Rachel Berger will be doing a webinar this week to talk about all those tools if you have remote IEPs and 504s. And so with that, we're going to wrap up. Thanks a lot, and we will hopefully see you tomorrow.